We're living through extraordinary times. My name is Phil Jones. I'm a partner in the UK office based in the City of London. I thought it would be useful to outline the measures that the UK government have put in place to support businesses and individuals. The aim is to help these businesses survive and avoid redundancies, and so when the situation improves, the UK economy can resume. We prepared a PowerPoint presentation of the main points, which I'll go through now. First page is the summary and the help that the UK government has given to both employers, businesses, and employed and self-employed people are listed on the thing. So they form a total package which includes grants for employees to help them maintain their workforce, grants for the self-employed to replace income that they might have lost, the deferral reduction of income tax to ease the cash flow burden on individuals and businesses, the deferral of VAT to ease the cash flow of businesses, various business rates holidays, grants for businesses in relation to their rates, and on top of that, they have loans to businesses. So if we start with the first major measure that's been introduced, we have what is called, it's the grants for employers, whereby the government pay up to 80% of the employee's wages for up to £2,500 per month. This scheme has just recently been extended to October, although the percentage government help is reducing from to taper down to 60% by October, and they've also put in provisions to allow for part-time working. The scheme's called the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme, and it's available to any employee who was on a payroll at the 19th of March 2020, and it's costing the government roughly £8 billion a month to fund the scheme. The general terms of the scheme are that the furlough member of staff must not work for the employer during the period of furlough, although they can undertake training and they can even undertake secondary work alongside the furlough. The provisions for statutory sick pay are joined with the furlough and work in conjunction with each other. In relation to, there's a number of examples here on the slide. So, for example, the example here is an employee called Ben. He has a salary of £2,000 per month. He has a national insurance contribution. The available grant to the employer is the lower of 80% of his salary or £2,500. As that's in this particular case, the employee, to subsidise his wages, gets £1,600, which is 80% of his salary, plus £121 in national insurance contributions. In the next example, we have someone who's earning more than £2,500 a month, and as you can see, the grant is set at £2,500 plus the national insurance, and you can actually see on the example that the net cost to the company of employing that person and thus protecting them from redundancy and in the long run is much lower than actually paying them. The next major item is grants for the self-employed. The government intends to pay 80% of average monthly profits over the last 3 years, again up to £2,500 a month, to put it in parity with the employee rules. The requirements are that the people have to be genuinely self-employed, have to have submitted a self-assessment tax return for 2018-19 as self-employed people, and they have to continue being self-employed in 2019-20 and onwards into 2021, which is the current tax year. The scheme again has been extended, and the grants to self-employed are ongoing. The only real proviso is that if your taxable profits are over £50,000, you don't qualify for the for this particular scheme. Also, you have to have prove you've lost trading profits due to coronavirus. The next measures are the deferral reduction of income tax. The income tax in the UK is paid on the 31st of January or 31st of July each year. Generally speaking, there's a second payment in July. The government have agreed that this can be deferred until next tax year, i.e. the 31st of January 2021, and they won't charge interest or penalties on any late paid tax. So again, this is a cash flow measure for individuals to help them through the harder times that we live in at the moment. In relation to businesses, there's a deferral of VAT. So if you had VAT payable between 20th of March and 30th of June periods, then that can be deferred until next year. Again, it's a cash flow measure to help businesses survive. In relation to business rates, the sectors that have been particularly hard hit, I think probably throughout the world, but particularly in the UK, are retail, hospitality and leisure, and child nurseries. There's a proposal that the rates bills for 2021 are going to be effectively suspended. There's going to be a rates holiday for people in those businesses. So if you have a shop, post office, petrol station, whatever, or a cafe, takeaway, sandwich shop, whatever, then you don't have to pay rates in the current year. This is only for these particular things, but in relation to the general business out there, small businesses who pay business rates can receive a grant from the local authority, and it depends on the level of the grant, depends on the level of the rateable value of the properties that they rent. So if you have a property that has a rateable value between 15 and 51,000, there's a grant of £25,000 payable by the local authority. If the business premises has a rateable value of less than 15,000, they receive a cash grant of £10,000. These are not returnable. The last section is loans for business. Many businesses have suffered through cash flow problems because their own customers have either not placed orders or aren't in a position to pay their debtors. And the idea is that the loans for businesses will tide these businesses over. They're split into three main heads, and it depends on the size of the business. The first of the loans for business are what's known as bounce back loans. And these are loans between £2,000 and £5,000. The application process is fairly simple. It's two pages of questions to fill out. The government is going to guarantee these loans to the tune of 100%. They will also cover any interest on these loans at 2.5% for the first year, with any bank fees, but the maximum term of the loans will be 6 years. This seems to be quite a successful measure the lack of red tape has enabled a lot of companies to get access to funds quickly. The loans for the small and medium-sized businesses that want to borrow more than £50,000, the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme, CBILS, is a little more complicated in that the government have only guaranteed 80% on each loan, and the red tape to get the loans approved through the banks is a little more onerous. But again, this is proving to be a good way of getting funding and continuity funding for businesses, so that at the end of this crisis, they will still be in business and they will still be contributing to the treasury, as it were. Larger businesses with turnover of 45 million to 500 million are can apply for a large business interruption loan, and again, these are up to 50 million, and it's dependent upon the individual companies. So as you can see, the government have put in place some pretty impressive measures to keep the economy going. I'm not saying that they're going to help everybody entirely, and they certainly won't avoid all redundancies. But this is a very brief overview. But if you want to know more, check your eligibility to make a claim, or find out more. We'd be happy to assist. We do have a business support guide available in PDF form, which we're happy to send out to potential clients. And we also have a copy of this PowerPoint if you'd find it useful. So stay safe and healthy. All the best. Thank you.